So it is going to be almost same. Begin with a letter, be 1 to 30 characters long, contain only A to Z capital or small a to Z or 0 to 9, underscore, dollar and hash. Not duplicate the name of another object owned by the same user. Say for example, you are using the HR schema. So once there is one table called employees, you cannot use or create another table called employees. It will say that the object already exists. Not be an Oracle server reserved word. That means you cannot create a table called select. Create table, then in the place of table name you are providing select. It will not work. So you must have create table privilege. A storage area, you specify the table name, column name, data type. So the user's table. So I'll come to this one later. Until and unless you are going to use select star, then it is of no use. Just let me show how to create a table first. Create table, then the table name, that is test table. So now I will be giving, say, some ID, say TT ID. TT ID will be what? Number, the size of, say, 3. So this is going to be the data type and this is going to be the size. And then comma, name is going to be varchar 2 with a size of, say, and say address, yes, Darshan, I'll show, like, that will come there in the slides only. See, Darshan was asking what are the data types that are present there. So see, mostly we'll be using date, we'll be using integer, that is number, we'll be using varchar 2, will be, there are few more, but for like those data types are used for, say, you are trying to store a complete text file. You are not going to provide as values, you are going to upload the doc file, or you are going to upload an image file, JPG or PNG file, or you are trying to upload audio, video, or you are going to upload a very long string. So all these are there, all these options are there. So apart from that, in general, tables will be created using these data types that we are going to use right now in this table. So address will be again varchar. Say, let it be 50 characters long, and then say I am writing date of joining, which is date, and why the name is bold. Which name? Okay, because name is somewhere there, it can recognize name as one of the keywords, but until and unless you are going to use that some name, like some table name with these keywords, it will not restrict you, it will get created. See, table, test table created. You can't see. Can you see the, like, the test table created? Can you see the output, like the test table created output statement? Now you can see table test table created. So this is a basic way to create a table. So they have given an example where, see, I am writing DOJ, date of joining. So you can write hire date or anything, and you will be writing date, then specifying default seize date. So if you are not providing any value, the default value will be the seize date. See, this is a complete example where a department number, department name, location, and create create date. That is when that record, not the table, but the record. When that particular record was created, you can find it out from create date. Is it clear? I can't see any response. Everyone is awake, right? How the seize date is taken? Seize date is taken, I mean, the system date, whatever the system date or the Oracle server can fetch the date from your system, it will set that date only. So you can see the list of data types that are present there in Oracle server. Varchar2 char. So Varchar2 is going to be variable length character data, where char is basically fixed length character data. Number is variable length numeric data. You can see P, S. P, S means if you are writing 3, 2 means you are allowing 2 decimal places after the fractional part. And then date is date time. Long is what? Long is variable length character data. Variable length character data is Varchar2 as well. So Varchar2 is having a limitation of 4000 characters as far I can remember. So if you want to store even more than that, you can store up to 2 GB. Globe is character data up to 4 GB. So what I said, if you are trying to store a very long string of data or characters, then you have to use long or CLOB. Raw and long raw is nothing but raw binary data. That means when you are going to store some image, you can use raw. Blob is mostly used for audio files or video files. B file is what? Binary data stored in external file, not in your database. Some file, actually in a database, what happens is you can store the address. Say for example, in the same system, you are going to store all these audio files or video files in some other folder or some other drive. You can just store the address, and that address will be able to retrieve the data from that different location as well. So for that you can use B file. And row ID is what? Row ID is common for all the records. Whenever you are going to insert a new record, a row ID is given to that, so that it can identify uniquely each and every record present in your database. So now I am going to ask each of you, I am going to connect each of you, and you have to explain me one after another, that is not null, unique, primary key, foreign key, and check. Check, if you can't, then I'll help you out, but the remaining one we have already discussed all about. So let me start. Hi Darshan.
Hi.
No, I can't. Yes, right now I can see it.
Yeah.
So
Can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely. So just tell me, actually I expect you to give me a good answer. What is the combination, like if I combine not null and unique, what will happen? Say for
So
example,
not null means it will return if
Yes,
if
yes.
there is no null value, so it will remove the null values. Only the value which is which the cell is considering the value, that result will be displayed.
Yes, that means you said if I am specifying not null, it will not allow me to store null values in that column, right?
Yeah, yeah, yes.
And unique is what?
Unique means which is not repeated.
We do not repeat it, right? So now,
Yeah,
the next point is what? Primary key.
primary key. Yeah.
Now can you identify what are the characteristics of a primary key? Primary key cannot have null value,
Primary. Yes.
and primary key will be unique for
And it
all the
should
records,
be. Yes.
right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
if you specify a particular column to be a not null as well as unique, then can you tell me, can we call that column as a candidate key? That is candidate to be a primary key?
Yeah. We
Right?
can.
So that's trying
Yes.
to make you understand. Key, not null and
Okay.
unique are two properties or characteristics of primary key actually. Once you write or specify a column to be not null and unique, that means knowingly or knowingly, you are going to make that column as a candidate to be a primary key. And now if you want later on, you can designate that candidate key or that particular column to be a primary key of your table. Clear?
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hi, Shravanti. Can you hear me? I think there is something wrong. If either your microphone is mute mode, there is something wrong. Please contact your technical person to get it resolved. Hi. Please adjust your camera. I can't see you properly. Yes. Right now it is absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. Can you please tell me? Yes. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. So can you please tell me what is a foreign key?
When we are using primary key of one table into another table to reduce the both tables, then that is known as key.
Absolutely. Thank you. So is there any problem in understanding anything?
No, I'm getting
Okay.
it.
So have you installed SQL Developer in your system?
Yeah.
Okay. Just keep on writing these queries. Those are there in the slides. And I have created one group. That group, I'll provide you the group name. And those who have given me who had sent me a mail, I have given them the name of the group. So I'll be giving you the name of the group by today, end of today session, so that you can join there and download the slides.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
And now, Onkar. Onkar, so can you tell me why, what is the use of check constraint?
Can you hear me?
I can, but just the volume is a bit low.
Hello.
Yes, absolutely fine.
Yes.
So can you please tell me what is the use of check constraint?
Check constraint as in if there are multiple values or there's kind of an range which you want to enter. At times you feel like the range of a salary should be more than the basic salary like 4,000. So you would put in constraint, no update would be there or no inserting of a salary would be less than 4,000. So you put in check constraint as in for writing in between this so that the salary range is not more than that or less than that or it should be in between that particular amount.
Check constraint is for checking whether that value I am going to insert lies between the domain, that's the range, upper limit or lower limit. If I do not have a upper limit, lower limit, during our graduation, there was a very common example of table that was a boats table, sailor table and boats table. So that boats table, they used to specify that boats color will be either red, green, blue or yellow. So there are 4 colors.
Yes.
So if you are willing to, whenever a new record of a boat is going to be inserted, the boat color has to be either red or green or blue or yellow. Then you have to specify during the table definition that the boat color, you have to write color, then you have to write varchar 2, say 5 or 10, check color in, and within past brackets, you will be writing red, comma, green, comma, blue, comma, yellow, that are within single quotes. Is it clear, Omkar? And till now, any issues, any problems?
No.
And tomorrow, Vidya ma'am will be taking the class. And let me see, I don't think that I'll be able to complete more than 3 chapters today. Probably she will be covering 3 chapters. I'll talk to her so that she can start with chapter number 12 instead of 13. According to our plan, she was supposed to start with chapter number 13. 12th chapter is very small. So I'll request her, if possible, to cover chapter number 12 as well tomorrow. If not, then we will cover it on the last to last day. That is the Thursday. Okay. 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 So constraint guidelines. You can name a constraint on the Oracle server, generates a name by using sys_cn format. So I'll show you how to create constraint. Actually, you may not, say for example, that table that I created, the table already is there. So say for example, this table, and you are writing TTID and this ID. After that, you are specifying primary key. So if you are specifying primary key, then also it will work. Say for example, you are trying to say write not null. It will work absolutely fine. But you know what? These constraints will be having a default name in the database. But you can give them names of your own choice. When you are going to provide some constraint, you can give them some names of your own choice. So if you are willing to do so, then you have to define them separately. Whatever you are doing right here, this is called column level constraints. When you are specifying the constraints during the definition of column. But once it is done and you are specifying all the constraints together before the closing bracket, say for example, after this, here you will be writing, say you can write like this. Sorry. Constraint, the table name is test table 1 or whatever, a test table, if it is test table TT underscore, say you are willing to write TT underscore PK, then you are writing primary key and you are specifying the value of the name of the column within the brackets. So then also it will be a constraint only, and it will work same as the previous approach. But there are two different approaches that I am trying to say. After creation of the table, you can also create constraints. Define a constraint at the column level or table level. So if you are defining constraint like this is going to be column level. In this is basically table level. So the syntax. So I think this one will help you. If you are writing like this, you can see create table employees, employee ID number. Immediate after it, you are writing constraint emp ID. It is column level constraint. That specifying the constraint name and everything. That means and you will create table employees, employee ID number, first name and everything. You have not specified whether it is going to be a primary key until and unless all the column names are specified. Column names or data types are specified, and then you are going to specify the constraints. So the constraint emp underscore emp ID underscore pk, then you are specifying the primary key as employee ID within brackets. So these are the different approaches that you can follow for specifying the constraints. So they have given a long example, very big example for creating a table, and then violating constraint. If you are trying to violate the constraint, say for example, set employee update employee set department ID is equals to 55, and say 55 is not there in the department table. You can see emp underscore dpt underscore fk violated, because here in this one I think there is yes constraint emp underscore dpt underscore fk references department tables department ID. So this department ID domain is there in the department table. If you are not being able to provide a value within that given domain, then you cannot insert something. That means you are trying to insert a record for which a department doesn't exist. So that is why it will throw you some error. So is it clear? Okay, sorry, I missed it, Darshan. That is, I'm not clear about what is the constraint. Okay, I'm very sorry to say that is, I didn't explain that word, what is a constraint. Constraint is basically set of restrictions. That means when you are going to provide values or insert values in a table, you have to ensure that those values are satisfying some characteristics. Characteristics as in, they may be, say for example, age. Age should not be less than 18 and greater than 60. That is what? A domain. So when you are specifying that domain, that means you are going to enforce a constraint. That means enforce a restriction that no value can go beyond this and beyond that. Similarly, when you are specifying this as a primary key, what you are trying to say? You are trying to say for this particular column, all the values will be unique for each and every record, as well as this column will not have any null value. So these are going to be some restrictions. Once a column is declared as not null, means that column cannot have a null value. That means you cannot keep that column empty. So these are some restrictions that we need to enforce to ensure data integrity. Data integrity as in, say for example, you are not specifying primary key. Now how will you ensure that all the records are unique? There is no way out. So that is why entity integrity. What is referential integrity? Referential integrity says when you are going to refer the employee IDs or the department IDs from department table to some other table, if some department name is not listed there in department table, then how an employee can work in that department? So that is what we call referential integrity. if you are taking value from some other table, you have to ensure whatever value you are going to insert, those values are present in that table first. Similarly, in other words, say in employees table, some department ID is there, and you are trying to delete that particular department from department table. It will not allow you, because some employee is working. First you decide what is the feature of that employee record, then you just go and delete it. So these are what we call constraints. That means some restrictions to ensure integrity. That can be entity integrity, that can be referential integrity. Now is it clear, Darshan? Okay. You can see the example that I was talking about right now. Delete from departments where department ID is equals to 60. Some employees working in department number 60. So it is not allowing you. Child record found, you can see. So that is what we call for referential integrity. If you refer to something, then it will not allow you to delete until and unless you take some decision on that employee. Creating table using subquery. So using subquery, you have already seen na, create table name as, then select something. Okay, tell me one thing, Omkar, I know you can remember this. I hope Jaya also can remember. If I write a query like this, create table emp demo as select star from employees, where 1 is equals to 2, and let it be employee demo 2. I'm not sure whether the employee demo is already been created or not. So what is going to be the output? Any idea? It will create the table, but will not copy the records. It will create the table emp underscore demo underscore 2, but it will not copy the records. See, table emp demo 2 created, but it will not copy the records because you have given a where clause and that clause is not true. So it is being unable to copy the records, but it will create the table. So if you just want to create a table using the same structure that is there in some other table, but do not want that table to get filled up with the records of that other table, yes, empty table. And empty table, and here you do not need to specify any data type or column name explicitly. Everything will be taken from that existing table, but the records that will not be there. When it can be used, say for example, for accounts table you want to create an account backup, or employees table you want to create an employee backup table. So that employee backup table is maintained only for the employees who are leaving the organization. So for that, first time you do not need to insert any value, but you need to keep all the columns, those are present there, so that you can keep the updated record when the employee is leaving. The last scenario or the last record, what to say, better to say the values, those are present for that employee when the employee was leaving the organization. So for that you need what? The exact table without the records. So you can see if I write the select star from, employee demo is coming here only. Empty demo 2. See, there is no record. So they have created another one with only the records having department ID is equals to 80. you can create a read-only tables. Read-only tables means where you cannot insert, where you cannot update. You can just read the records. Now come to the question of alter table statement. They have not given any example for alter table. I'll suggest you that I'll be giving some statements some queries or statements of alter table, and let us try to apply them. They have not given any syntax or anything of alter table. So here it comes. Alter table can do several tasks. As Darshan was quite worried how to alter a column, how to drop a column instead of records or instead of say table. So here it comes, alter table, then the name of the table, add column name, and then using this you can add a new column. When you are going to add a new column, to be more specific, when you are going to add a new column, no restrictions as such. No restrictions as such. Until and unless it is having a same name with some existing column. Is it clear? You cannot include a new column with an existing name. Similarly, when you are going to add multiple columns, add column name, then the data type and the size similar will apply for multiple columns as well. Specify the column names within brackets. Now, if you want to modify the data type, now you have to remember integer can, if that column is having integer values, you can change it to character. But a character value, some column is having character value, you cannot modify that to integer. Similarly, if a table is having date, you can, like a column is having data type as date, you can change it to character, but a column is having character, you cannot change it to date. Because my name, Partha, cannot be converted to a date. So that is why character values, a column which can contain character, you cannot ensure all the characters will be having exactly same format of a date. So you have to be very careful when you are trying to modify the data type. Data types must be compatible. Similarly, after this, come to this one, enforcing some constraint. That means again not null. When you declared or defined the table structure, you didn't write anything regarding not a null or anything. So that is why when you are writing like this, you will be writing alter table, table name, modify column name, varchar to not a null. See Darshan, some ASCII values can be there. Say for example, my name, if we are trying to convert it to integer, there can be something like that, but my target is what? To make it readable to the users. So if I convert it to some ASCII value, I won't be able to retrieve it and in the same form, in that form it was inserted. Whatever I do, I have to ensure the exact form has to be returned. If Partha was inserted, it has to return Partha only. That is why it doesn't allow you to do it. Oracle doesn't allow you. In other programming languages you can do, but in Oracle, because it is going to change it now. So if it needs to change it, then it won't be able to, because as you know, it is going to save the data somewhere. In a normal programming, you are giving some data and you are seeing the output. That is fine, but here you are going to store it for future use. So now, alter table, modify column name, varchar not null. You are going to enforce some integrity, some constraint. And the last one, but not the last one. I think some more are there. So alter table, table name, drop column. Drop column is having some restriction. Restrictions as in, you can drop a column only if that column is having only null values or doesn't have any value. And one more thing to specify, when you are going to change the size of a column, if the column is having some value, you cannot reduce the size, you can increase the size. Similarly, when you are going for altering the columns, like you are going to drop a column, alter table, drop column, column name, but here you have to ensure that column is either all the records are having null values for that particular column or doesn't have any value at all. Then only you can drop it. Or the table can be empty. If the table is empty, there is no question of null values, then also you can do it. And the last one is what? Renaming. That means you can rename, alter table, then specify the table name. I tried once that renaming. That was the smallest example. That is why I tried it out. See, I have created one table. One second. See, I have created one table and then alter table emp demo rename to rename underscore emp underscore demo. So let it be like this. There is a table called emp demo 2, and let it be rename emp demo 2, and see what happens. Which one, Omkar? Why so means? Write it down. Write it like in details. Because if you are having some value and someone comes and drops the column, then what will happen? Only if you do not have any relevant value in that particular column, then only you are supposed to drop. If you have inserted some value, that means those values are important. Each and every record and each and every value is equally important for Oracle, because it is all about their goodwill and their data security. So that is why if that column is not empty, that means some valuable value is there. So that value should not be deleted. And they have given some example. You can use the alter table syntax to put a table into read-only mode, which prevents DDL statement or DML statement changes during the table maintenance. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. I can't remember your name. I'm too bad in remembering names. So yes, we can. Sure. Whoever is from some guest from Kharadi Center. Yes, we can. You can see this one. Alter table, table name, rename, column, then column name, previous column name to new column name. But the thing is, at times there are SQL injections as well at that time. Do you know, Omkar, what is SQL injection? As you asked me or have taken this term, so let me explain. SQL injection is something related to as database security. So when, say for example, you are trying to find out the details for a particular user, and that user is having user ID, say for example PPD 699. So if it is PPD and 699, so if this is a username and accordingly some password is there written, some password will be there, let it be like anything else, some password will be this. So a table with user ID and password will be, Rashmi, right now can you see this? Is it visible? Shravanti, tomorrow session will start from 1:30. So if you are going to store records like this, and now say for example you have written a query from your front end when you are going to design a .NET or like .NET to SQL Server connectivity, you are writing a query, and that query is taking what? Taking the user ID and going to show you the details of that user. Absolutely fine. If someone is specifying instead of user ID, someone is specifying, so your query is going to run is like this: select star from, sorry, select star from user details, UID, say some user ID that you are specifying. One second, are you being able to see? Are you being able to see the screen? Okay, okay, okay. Excuse me. Okay. Yes, Darshan, I am also very hungry, and actually we are having only one or two slides left, so I don't want them to like put away for the to keep for lunch. So just let me complete. So what I was talking about is SQL injection. If you are writing UID is equals to PPT 699, which will be provided from the front end. So once you are writing PPT 699, it will retrieve UID equals to will be 1 equals to 2, which is true for all the time. So it will return all the results. So all the results will come to the front end. This is what we call SQL injection, where you are actually like giving some erroneous values to retrieve all the records. Yes, just only one slide is left. Just let me complete. So that is what we call SQL injection. For that we need to use what? We need to use stored procedure. So now, drop table statement to delete a table. You can just write drop table and the table name. I'm sorry, Omkar, Darshan, and everyone to see you hungry. Even I am hungry too. But I was planning to complete it in the like, fast stuff only. Okay. Okay, that is rename EMP demo right now. So table rename EMP demo 2 is dropped. Stored procedure is not SQL injection. I will explain it once we are back. Not able to see. Omkar, is it not visible? Okay, just okay. Let us bind offer right now, and just log out your session once and log in again. After say it is 1:31, we'll be back around at 2. Okay. Just log out and come back at 2. We'll start with that last slide of this one, and then the next from the next chapter. Okay.